What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown video for UFC Vegas 89. We got Rose Namajunas going against Amanda Ribas. We are once again back in the Apex for a 13-fight card. And yeah, I mean, I'm not, really digging this card from a betting perspective. I'm keeping it super light this week. I have 6 bets, 4 of them being plus money. Even then, I kind of feel like I'm a little bit overexposed to this card. Like, you can make a case for pretty much every single dog on the slate. Like, my most confident pick is probably Rose Namajunas, and even then, I'm not too confident in her. I feel like we're going to get a lot of dogs that do come through. It's just, which dogs are coming through. So, yeah, I don't really like this card from a betting perspective. A lot of people do, though. A lot of people like this card from a betting perspective. And then it's like, you look at who people are betting, and they're betting guys like Muhammad Usman. They're betting Julian Arosa. I mean, guys like Jarno Arendt. It's like, I don't know. I mean, this is a one big mess. But we're gonna see if we can come out of this mess alive. Come out with this mess with some profit. Before we get started, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe here to the channel. Be on the lookout for more content. Be on the lookout for Best Bet on Fight Day, going live at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. For some reason, these fights are starting at 7. So we're going to have a late night on Saturday watching some fights. So, all right, I say we get into it. We're going to start with Mick Parkin and Muhammad Usman. I'm passing on these first couple fights. I mean, this is one especially, like Mick Parkin, Usman, like this fight could potentially play out close. I like Mick Parkin here. I think he's going to be the better striker, more active on the feet. But, Usman could make this interesting with some cage pushing, potential takedowns. I think this fight goes to decision, but you're laying, a minus number on a fight or a heavyweight fight to go the distance. I don't really love that. It's just one big stay away from me. Next, we have Andre Lima going against Igor Da Silva. We got 2 guys coming off the Contender Series, 2 guys making their debut here. And if anything, it's like a dog or pass. I just don't feel the need to get involved in this fight. It feels like a Contender Series fight to me. I feel like I want to learn a lot about both guys here. I feel like both guys are, fairly well matched with, Igor Da Silva being the much more aggressive guy, maybe, able to mix in some takedowns in there. But Andre De Lima being the guy that is going to be the more technical fighter, a little bit more composed in there. I think we get a close fight here. It's a dog or pass, but I'm not touching this one as well. Next, we got Daria Zelnikova going against Montserrat Rendon. Zelnikova is like tied for the biggest favorite on the card with Rose Namajunas. I mean, that's terrifying. I guess it's a dog or pass, but I'm not betting on 35-year-old Montserrat Rendon. It's a striker versus grappler matchup. I think Daria is going to be the much, much better striker. I actually really like her striking a lot. It's just if she gets taken down, like that could be the round there. So it's another pass for me, and I would not be betting on this fight, especially laying minus 210 on Zelnikova. Newcomer. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but I'm not touching it. Next, we got Stephen Nguyen going against Jarno Arendt. Very interesting line movement here. Stephen Nguyen was a much bigger favorite. People loving them some Jarno Arendts. I am not one of those people, but at the same time, you don't want to lay minus 200 on Stephen Nguyen, so I get it in a sense. It's just, Jarno Arendts is so low volume out there. He doesn't do much. I like the activity, the volume of Stephen Nguyen. I think Stephen Nguyen probably wins this fight by decision, but again, I'm not laying minus 200 on a newcomer who fought on the Contender Series 3 times. Don't worry, guys. I have some bets on this card, but holy crap, these first 4 fights are sketchy. Next, we do have my first bet. We got Miles Johns going against Cody Gibson. I like the Cody Gibson side here, and I like him more specifically inside the distance. Miles Johns coming in here on short notice. I already questioned his cardio. I already questioned the durability a bit. Miles Johns in both of his losses, they have come inside the distance, one by knockout, one by sub. Miles Johns is actually undefeated in decisions, so if this does go to decision, Miles Johns probably does get his hand raised, but, Cody Gibson, decent finisher in his own right, has some power, has a little bit of a submission game as well, I think he's going to have the cardio advantage in this matchup, the durability advantage in this matchup, and he's the guy in the full camp. So I think there's a lot of reasons to like Cody Gibson. I think it's a dog or pass spot here. I like Cody Gibson at plus money, but taking it a little bit further and looking for him to finish this fight inside the distance at plus 425, which I thought was very interesting there for Cody Gibson to go out there and get a finish. I was looking at maybe like the round props for Cody Gibson 2-3, but I also think it might be able to come early as well, so I didn't want to miss out. Just give me a half a unit on Cody Gibson to win inside the distance, plus 425. I think that's a pretty big number there against a guy that's been finishing all his losses on short notice. Next, we got Ricardo Ramos going against Julian Arosa. Nothing really sticking out here. I think the obvious spot is probably like the violence. The fight doesn't go to decision. I think as a potential parlay piece, you can potentially parlay it up. Ramos has been finished in 4 of his 5 losses. Arosa has been knocked out 7 times. This fight just spells violence there. So if you like the fight doesn't go, could be a parlay piece. It's just minus 215 for a featherweight fight to finish. You are, overpaying quite a bit. Last week we had a couple featherweight fights that did go the full 15, which I did not expect them to go the full 15. So maybe that's the case here, but yeah, I think this fight does finish one way or another. It's just I don't know if I want to lay the minus 215 on the fight doesn't go. Next, we got Trey Ogden going against Kurt Holobaugh. Another dogger pass spot here, but there's a spot I like even more on this fight. It's going to be the finish only for Kurt Holobaugh. I just don't think, Trey Ogden's finishing anybody in the UFC outside of Nicholas Mota, which got turned into a no contest, but he was probably on his way to finishing that fight. I just don't think he's finishing Holobaugh here. Ogden has 0 knockouts on his record. Ogden is a BJJ black belt, but I don't think he's subbing Kurt Holobaugh. I think Holobaugh is going to be the much, much more dangerous fighter here. I think Holobaugh could potentially get a sub here. Trey Ogden's been submitted 3 times in his career, and those submission losses weren't that long ago. And then if there's a knockout, I think it comes from the Holobaugh side as well. So I could see a situation where, Ogden does go out there, make this fight as boring as possible, fight smart, and wins a close decision, but I think Holobaugh is live for that finish. So I'm on the finish only, 1.5 units, minus 140. Also don't mind the Holobaugh money line at plus 135. I just think if he is winning, it is going to probably be a finish there. Moving on, we got Fernando Padilla going against Luis Pajelo. I'm on violence here as well. I have 1.5 units on the fight, doesn't go to decision, minus 150. Also on a quarter unit sprinkle on Fernando Padilla to win this fight by submission. Neither of these guys have actually been finished. 6 losses for these two, all 6 of them coming inside the distance. But Luis Pajelo is a guy that's going to come out there with reckless abandon. He has no striking defense, no regard for his own safety. He's going to bring an absolute firefight, an absolute war, and I think somebody does get served here. I think that somebody's probably Luis Pajelo as well. Fernando Padilla, very good finisher in his own right, an 87% finish rate. Pajelo's finished all but one of his wins as well. And then you look at Padilla, he's actually finished 53% of his wins by submission. He's a 10th planet BJJ brown belt. So if this fight does hit the mat, I think he's going to have just the most significant grappling advantage ever. It's just, will this fight hit the mat? It's yet to be seen. But if it does, I think that submission prop for Fernando Padilla at plus 650 is very live. So quarter unit sprinkle on that submission prop, plus 650. And then I'm also on the fight doesn't go to decision, 1.5 units, minus 150. Looking for some violence here. Next, we got Billy Quarantillo going against Yusuf Zalal. Yeah, not much sticking out here. Zalal is, or seems to be, the dog of the week for a lot of people, and actually on some books, it looks like Zalal's not even the dog anymore. Looks like Billy Q on some books is like approaching plus money potentially. I don't know. I think it's a close fight. I think skill for skill, these two are very similar. If not, like Zalal might be the more skilled fighter. It's just, Billy Q puts on such a pace, so much volume, and that's not really Zalal's game. I kind of feel like for Zalal to win this fight, he's going to have to hurt Billy Q. He's going to have to maybe even finish Billy Q, which is going to be tough because if this fight hits the scorecards, I just think Billy Q is going to be the much more active fighter. So I'm picking Billy Q here. I don't really want to bet it, but if it gets the plus money, I might take a look because I do think these two are very evenly matched. I think a pick'em makes sense to me. So early money on Zalal made some sense for me there. Next, we got Peyton Talbot going against Cameron Simon. I like Talbot here. I like Talbot more specifically. I like that round 3 decision prop at plus 148. I have 1 unit on it. Also have a quarter unit on Talbot to win this fight in round 3 at plus 1400 like he loves to do. I was kind of surprised to see that 3rd round prop so big because that's typically how he wins a lot of his fights. And yeah, I think this fight goes over. I think the over 1.5 rounds is a very good parlay piece this week. I don't even mind like the fight starts round 3. Don't know if I touch the over 2.5 because like I said, I think I could potentially see a 3rd round finish here. And I think it could come from Talbot. I like the striking of Talbot. I like the volume, the cardio, the pace, the toughness, the durability of Talbot. And I think as the fight goes on, it's going to favor Peyton Talbot more and more. I think it could be competitive early on, but I just think, Talbot's going to get the better of the striking exchanges the 2nd, 3rd round and potentially get that finish there. So I like the round 3 decision for Peyton Talbot, 1 unit plus 148, then a quarter unit sprinkle on the round 3 prop for Talbot. Next, we have Shabazian, AJ Dobson. Big pass here. Shabazian minus 205. Should he win this fight? I think so. It's just, how could you ever trust Edmund Shabazian? Ever. And I can't. I'm not trusting him. I don't trust the cardio. If this fight does get extended, we've seen him broken time and time again. I'm picking him to win, but laying minus 205 on Edmund Shabazian just does not seem like the best idea. Carl Williams, Justin Tafa. Yeah, striker versus grappler matchup. Williams is going to be looking to get this fight down to the mat. I kind of see it playing out one of two ways. I think Williams by decision is a very viable outcome, and then if Tafa wins, he's obviously going to knock him out. Tafa has a 100% finish rate. All those come by knockout. So yeah, I mean, pick your poison there. Williams by decisions plus 185, Tafa by knockout plus 200. I guess I lean more so on the Williams side, but I'm not touching this fight either. And then we got Rose Namajunas going against Amanda Hebos. Yeah, I think Rose is probably my most confident pick on the card, which is saying nothing because I'm not confident in a lot of these fighters. But yeah, I think Rose wins this fight. I think she's the much more experienced fighter. The fighter has fought the much better competition, and it's not even close. I think she's the better striker as well. Better pretty much everywhere outside of course, BJJ in favor of Amanda Hebos. I think Rose gets it done. It's just a question of she get it done by knockout, decision. I guess I lean decision, but a knockout wouldn't shock me. It looks like people are betting that knockout prop, which is only plus 110, which is a trash price. So the pick is Rose Namajunas. Don't hate her as a parlay piece, but nothing for me on this fight. And that's all, guys. Keep it as light as possible. I probably should have even kept it lighter, but quick recap. Fight doesn't go to decision. Padilla, 1.5 units, minus 150. Quarter unit, Padilla subs, plus 650. Tabut, round 3 decision, 1 unit, plus 148. Tabut, round 3, quarter unit, plus 1400. Kurt Holobaugh, finish only, 1.5 units, minus 140. Gibson, inside the distance, plus 425. Best of luck, everybody. Seems like, the majority of these fights are just strictly coin flips, so if you like flipping coins, this is your card, because holy crap, I'm kind of struggling with this one, but a lot of people seem to be confident in this card. Best of luck to you all, and we'll talk to you guys very soon. I'm going to be attacking Atlantic City a lot heavier next week, already almost done with that card, and of course, we got UFC 300 coming up, so don't gotta, force a ton here. We got some big cards coming up. Best of luck, everybody, for UFC Vegas 89, and we'll talk to you guys soon. See you.